Thank you.
Can you try this thing?
I can barely, I don't know if that works right. Just gonna pause this until we get started. Welcome. Now we're ready to get started. So welcome to April class. I'm really excited about this one because it represents, well, in many traditions, the first moon of creation, but in ancient traditions, it was actually looked at as the fourth moon of creation. And this is when, pardon me, this is when we would call, or they would call this moon the sucker moon. Pardon me. I think it's because I talked so much with a mask on. Fried me out. Okay. So it's known as the sucker moon. And this is when the sucker, which is known as a spirit, goes into the spirit world. And sucker spirits are known as spirits that bring cleansing techniques into our world. So when we do cleansing and we're smudging or we're doing banishing with herbs, spirits, banishing spirits are the ones that come and do the cleansing. And so these are called suckers. And the reason why they're called suckers is because they're like, imagine like a long, I don't know, a long ghosty figure, but the front of them is like a suction cup. And they cleanse, they suck in all of that negative world or negative spirit. And so this is a time where our world is receiving techniques for cleansing. And the spirits are trying to cleanse our realm. And when it returns into this realm, it's known to purify a path for the spirits. And it also cleanses all water beings. So during this time, we can learn to become healed. So April is a good month for us to do healing work. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Because when we are working our magic at home, our home becomes our medicine. And this month, up until the full moon, is a time of truth. And this month is about bringing things into justice. It's about protecting our life, and especially the innocent. So our inner child is getting healed right now. It's going through a growth process. Everything that is being reborn, everything that is being created, whether it's flowers or our ideas, we receive help against adversity. And this energy actually started to take place on the new moon. So our healing talents are meant to become even more useful than they have been. And some of you are like, well, I haven't even started my healing. It's okay. You're still, every time this year, we go up into the next step with our healing connections. And what brings the healing connection is honesty. Remember, these sucker spirits cleanse the negativity. So we want to try to be as positive as we can. The good thing is, through this month, the moon energy and the moon goddess carries the influence of love and home, as well as business and other material aspects. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? I lost my spot. Okay, here we are. Good. So there is, I want to go into healing and magic right now. Okay. I can, where my notes are. Okay. So as we practice, some of you know me quite well. You are going to have people come to you for everything. When they know that you're involved in witchcraft, they know that you can bless, they know that you can heal, they know that you can banish, they know that you can connect with spirits. So we do all the fun stuff. And we also do stuff that many people are scared of. But this month is about healing. So I want to go into that. There is a call. Now, some of you took the chaos magic class, but I want you to write down the vowels A, E, I, O, U. Just like you would teach the kids. A, E, I, O, U. And that is very powerful. And when we say those vowels in our mind or out loud as a chant, the ancient ones come forward. And it is said to be the portal of power for us to receive that. So in your mind right now, I want you to say A, E, I, O, U. You want the A and the O to be longer than the rest. We're going to do it 3 times. A, E, I, O, U. And I go like this. For some reason, I've always done that. It just kind of helps me find my timing. We'll do it one more time. A, E, I, O, U. And so if you think that, or you say that out loud, before you do spells or rituals, it calls in our ancestors. And it's actually known to be a very powerful charm. We're going to take that a little further. So when you're doing healing for yourself, next time, let's try our third eye first. So go into Gasho. I'm having trouble seeing you. There we go. So go into Gasho. Now we're going to open our hands slowly. So I always point out and then open them and go to the side. And this is known as an Isis pose. There's a couple different poses, but this is known as an Isis pose. And I want you to put your left hand on your third eye and put your right hand on your heart. And I want you to say your vowels. You can say it out loud or in your mind. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. And if you felt a vibration in your heart as you said that, then you are connected. So that puts us into, some of you might be like, wow, I actually feel lighter headed. So that puts us into our state. And we can heal ourselves by putting our left hand onto our third eye and the right hand onto whatever it is that we want to heal. And the reason why we're using our left hand on our third eye is to connect to our higher self. And also when we hold the vision of what we want to be healed, or we're saying it to ourselves mentally, it goes in. So we can actually listen to spirit. We could go into a haunted place and listen to spirit with our left hand. I could go into a room, or I could go around someone, and as soon as my hand is open, after I mentally say the vowels, which nobody knows I'm doing, but when I do that and I open my left hand, I can connect with spirit. And it's really cool. You got to try it in each place you go into. Try it in the superstore when you walk in. Just kind of takes note on what you feel. So people will come to you to help for help. And you have to remember that the promise of the goddess is for ecstasy is mine and joy on the earth. So that is a very powerful statement, because it lets you, it means, losing track. It means, let there be joy in your heart. Greet people with joy. Always be glad to see them. If times are hard, think it might have been worse. And at least you know you have the joys of the Sabbath. Okay, so this old teaching that I'm explaining and I'm going to go over is from the early 1900s. This is what they taught. So always greet people with joy. I firmly believe if someone is here, if they're in my vicinity, they're universal spirit to me. There's a reason, not just for them, for me, but me for them. And so you should always be joyful. Be happy to see them, even if it's difficult. And if you are dealing with an asshole, that happens a lot in these times, at least think in your mind, could have been worse. But we always have the joys of the Sabbath. So like Beltane is the next one. And you will know your joys every time you celebrate. And the Sabbath, when we meet, we are meant to be thinking of our higher self, connecting to our beauty and the magic of the ritual, and also the loved ones that we are meeting, the ones that are joining in the circle. And if we go to our inner joy and practice finding that inner joy every day, we heal, we get better. But we have to banish fear. And if there is fear speaking, if there is doubt, if there is negativity, that is trying to get into your auric body, okay? And we have a nice hard egg. So when we get a flu, that bug worked through 12 bodies to get us. So then it's like, oh my gosh, I must have been like really low in energy if it can cross all those different consciousnesses and all those different thoughts. So our joy through this, or our joy through this month, our duty spiritually is to keep banishing anything that is negative and anything that is fearful or anything that is going to touch you. And act as if those negative energies are trying to bother you or hurt you. And I actually did that. When I was trained that anything negative was like a needle, okay? It wants to poke you, right? And some of those pokes bleed. And so I learned that for me, 1 month of me saying, no, I own the power of negativity I want to take care of, I realized that it was super easy to get past issues, and that my spirit guides, my ancestors, whoever they are that's helping me, would come forward. And it actually puts our spirit and our psychic connection into a place where we haven't been before. So it's important for you. Remember, I always say, anything you need, take it past to the desire. If I need $350 for a bill, I call 700. I could double it. The other thing that you have to remember, and these are all traditional teachings, when we are helping the sick, we have to remember that if you help others, it actually makes you forget your own problems. It's true. And how amazing is that? Because when we forget our own problems, we are automatically in a regeneration mode. So if you're helping another person, you're forgetting your own problems. And if there is another person in pain, do what you can to distract their attention from it. You can't say you have no pain, but you can soothe and focus on the cure by getting them to strive or believe in something else, keeping them busy. And as we keep busy, the pain gets rid of those. So you got to know, most of us have a pain, okay? Mine is the lower back or the ankles. So if you know your pain, try that this month. Get busy doing something else. Don't let yourself fall into the pain and don't let it paralyze you. And one of the ways to get out of that pain is to think happy thoughts. So joy is actually one of the strongest vibrations, joy and love. So if you have a backache, start thinking about happy things and see how long it takes for that backache to get away. And so when we tap into memories and happy thoughts, we're actually tapping into our inner mind. At least that's what the ancients believed. And the other thing is the third thing that they would teach is that to this end, it's not wrong to let people think that we are of the cult, okay? And a lot of people do not associate witchcraft with a cult. Well, we're okay. If people want to say, you know, what is this cult magic? You don't go, oh yeah, I'm part of the cult, okay? But let people think what they want, because we are of occult power. And because of that, we have more power than our human self. We have connection, and that connection creates our own personal truth. And that own personal truth is what you end up believing in. And the more you believe in your connection to spirit, the more you're going to believe in yourself and the powers you really possess. So you do really possess the powers that you want. So much so that you can actually call them and do good with them. So if you want to be a healer, call in your healing power. What healing power do you want? And focus on that. If you're a healer with your hands, and we're going to activate, we're going to do a wicked charge for this month. But if you want to heal with your hands and use your hands as a portal of power, whether you're doing magic or healing, then that's what you want to focus on. And we can activate our hands many different ways. And we're going to actually do an activation tonight. The other thing is you must also try to find out about where the sickness comes from. Normally, your intuition is going to know the trigger, but you always want to help them feel better. That's the key. So what is the pain? Well, we can look at certain areas of the body and associate that pain to the chakras. Lower back pain, root chakra. So if we know where the chakras are, we can work with the remedies there. But you do always want to feed in positive things, because that's what the spirit needs. It needs empowerment, the higher self. Sometimes our mental mind and our higher self are separated from each other. And unawakened people, that's like life. But we can feel that when we start to feel like drained or pain starts to come on. So this month, any type of pain that comes on, you're meant to heal and believe in it. The other thing that I like to do as far as healing, like simple methods, is the transfer the energy method. So you can use, I like to use apples, but you can also use a potato or an onion. And if you cut it and just place it on whatever hurts, I used to use it for my wisdom teeth pain. And I would just put it on there until that apple would heat up. And then I would take it off, and it almost feels like a suction cup coming off. And then I would bury it and give it to the earth. Or I'll put a sock in my ankle or a rock in my ankle. So we can transfer things, and practicing transferring that pain into something else works really good for this month. Poppet magic is also something that works really good. And that's where you just draw a little gingerbread man and use that as yourself or someone you're trying to heal. And you can put herbs on it. You can put stones on it and create a whole little grid. So those are also ways. But what we want to do is we want to master ourselves and get into the place where we know that we're in a healing state. So we want to put ourselves into that place and leave it there. So we do want to find out, what the pain is and why. Look into it. There's usually emotional, maybe it's spiritual, maybe it's mental, but all of our bodies will affect our health. The other thing that we do is when we are doing healing for others, we always look between their eyes, and not like right here, but above. So just in between the eyes and in between the third eye. And that's where you want to focus. And as you're looking in their eyes, and you can blink, but you don't have to. You don't have to stare. You want to gaze. This actually relaxes your patient or the person that you're working with, your client, your patient. I guess they would be, but looking at somebody right here will actually relax them. So if you have kids or someone is like anxious, just try looking there and just focus on it. And you'll see that they calm down. I used to practice on my son and put him to bed just by focusing right there. And when you do that, you can actually suggest things So you can also say your arms are tired, or you can try to put them into a meditative state. But don't say things like, I am the master of your mind. Okay, that won't work. But what you do want to do is try to relax people and infuse them with the feelings of joy or love, or things that they need to get rid of it. It's like when we banish a house and negative spirits, we need to fill that energy up. Otherwise, it's just empty. So whenever people smudge, we also put into the environment what they want, what they need, what they desire. So as soon as you start to think about pain or you need to heal, think joy, think love. Same with others when you're helping others. Think about joy, think about love. And when you do that, you can even influence entire rooms. Let me see. So really try to be happy this month and remember the words of the goddess. And this is what they want to say. I give unimaginable joys on earth, certainty, not faith, while in life, and upon death, peace, utterable, rest, and ecstasy, and the promise that you will return again. And in the old days, many went into the flames, laughing and singing. And so they would do it again and again, to have joy in life, to have beauty, to have peace and death, and the promise of return. And when you think about that, the Bible actually speaks. And it says, a merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit breaks the bones. It's the same type of thing, right? So we may not have a merry heart, but we could have been born under a negative influence. And so that represents the effects. The Bible also talks about being born under the evil star. And that also represents the effects of the stars that are overestimated for us. So it is a process. The secret process is our will and our imagination. And of course, we use that in magic, right? So our will and our imagination can be influenced by anything. And when we go into the place of will and imagination, it affects our body and it brings us joy. Our body becomes happy, and then our mind becomes happy, right? And it is to help us. The guides want us to be happy, and they want us to be well. And prayer is also used. So we don't call it prayer. Lots of people do. But prayer can be used in magic and in healing. And whenever I feel like I can't take something on myself, I ask the universe to it. I ask different gods, different goddesses. And what I do, the reason why we do that is because it stimulates our body and mind so that it knows we're reaching out for some help here. I'm not taking this on. So let's do an activation spell. I want you to grab your candle. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything that I want. Okay. Let me see, where is it? I have lots of stuff up, so Push wrong thing and I'm screwed. Okay. I indicate. So this invocation that we're going to do, we are going to connect ourselves to many different realms. I want to connect to the archangel energy because right now is known as their shielding of protection is coming into our realm this month up until the full moon. We're also going to invoke our connection to the elementals and our power animals. So I'm excited about that. So I want you to grab your candle and any candle you're drawn to, it doesn't matter the color. I have blue because my ear was bothering me and it's from listening to spirit. Okay. Hold your hand, hold it in your left hand and your right. So a in basho in between the two. And repeat after me. I gotta move my here. Okay. So I want you to think about the east. You can face it if you want to. And I want you to think of the wind, sounds of the birds, and repeat after me. Raphael, Prince of Brightness, bring to me harmony, balance, and success in all my endeavors. And I want you to think of the east again and put your candle in your left hand and raise your right hand. You want to feel the air. Lord and ladies of the East, say after me. Lord and ladies of the East, rulers of air, I ask for your help in this ritual. And then we're going to put the candle in our right hand and put your left hand up. And repeat after me. And make sure you feel the air. Repeat after me. Mighty power animals of the East, be with me and guard me now. And now we're going to put the candle back in both hands. We're going to focus on the south. Think about your bonfires in summer. Think about your passion, your love, whether it's a person or something you like to do. Breathe in. Repeat after me. Archangel Michael, Prince of Wisdom, bring to me protection, knowledge, and the skill to see the truth in my endeavors. And now you're going to take the candle and put it in your right hand. No, you're not. Putting it in our left hand and raising our right hand. And say after me. Again, think of the south. Power of the candle when you're going to see the flame rise. Make sure you feel the air. Try to get a little heat. Lord and ladies of the South, rulers of fire, I ask for your help in this ritual. And then we're going to put the candle in the right hand and raise the left. Focus on the South. Focus on the lion or the salamander. And the South, think of the animals. Power animals of the South, be with me and guard me now. And you want to take note if you feel any warmth within you or around you. We're going to put the candle back in the middle of our hands, back into Gasho, and we're going to think about the West. And the West is always the spirits that we loved and knew. So they could be family, friends. And repeat after me. Archangel Gabriel, Prince of Change, bring to me visions, true magic, and prophecy in my endeavors. And we're going to put the candle to your left hand and raise the right. You want to think about the coolness of water and when you drink it. Try to feel a little bit of coolness. And repeat after me. Lords and Lady of the West, rulers of water, I ask for your help in this ritual. And now we're going to put the candle in your right and raise your left. Focus on the water you like to go to. Where do you go to visit the water? Lords and ladies of the West, rulers of water. Nope, I did it wrong. We're doing rulers of water and power animals. We're doing power animals. So power animals, fish, whales, otters, seals. Power animals of the West, be with me and guard me now. Almost messed that one up. Okay, put your candle back into your middle hand, both of them, and we're going to focus on the north. Archangel Uriel, Prince of Divine Light, bring to me insight, endurance, and spiritual teachings in my endeavors. And we're going to put the candle in the left and raise the right. Lords and ladies of the north, rulers of earth, I ask for your help in this ritual. And then we're going to put the candle in our right. And we're going to lift our left hand. Focus on the north, your security, your wealth, your health, and everything you want to manifest, and the feeling of the earth under your feet. Power animals of the north, be with me and guard me now. And so when the powers of the north are guarding us, we will see crows, ravens, and hawks. So now we are going to light our candle. And watch it. So you want to see how quick, how does it light up? And anytime you use candles, because some people like to relight these on their own time, you want to take note on the color. Mine is super orange. Orange and yellow, so ancestors are my strongest. And if you do have a color, put it in your chat. I always try to see what colors of the chakras show up. So just watch your flame for a moment. After this class, before you put your candle out, walk up to a mirror and hold it into the mirror. And so that when you're looking at it, do it so that it's like on its own. It's not in front of you. And then look for the colors in the mirror. And that represents the magic in the spirit world. So if your flame is bright, maybe brighter than it is, then you know you have strong magic connection to the elements and the quarters. Okay, so before we move on, we're going to release it, but just take note on your environment. Like, did your room heat up? Did it get cold? Have you felt a change? Maybe a change in you. So remember, when we do rituals, it is an opening for us to connect to a new spiritual belief and our magic. So we want to learn how to raise our power. And some of you may be like, I know it when I raise the power, and some will still grow. Every time we light a candle or every time we do something, we do grow in power. So now that you have your candle in front of you, we have to say thank you. And before we do, we're going to release the spirits that we called. But I want to make sure that we are connected to the animals that want to come to us. So look at your candle and repeat after me. I call the big predators, the spirits such as lions, tigers, wolves, panthers, even boars. I call bears, horses, monkeys, apes, elephants. I call water elements and animals, fish, whales, dolphins. I call the birds, such as eagles, crows, ravens, hawks, falcons, blue jays, cardinals. I call the connection to the plants and the animals that are connected to the plants. Archangel Raphael, I thank you for your aid and protection. Archangel Michael, I thank you for your help and your protection. Archangel Gabriel, and just look at the candle as you're saying this. I thank you for your help and your protection. And Uriel, I thank you for your presence, your help, and protection. Lord and ladies of the East, I thank you for your help and protection. Lord and ladies of the South, I thank you for your help and protection. Lord and ladies of the West, I thank you for your help and your protection. Lord and ladies of the North, I thank you for your help and protection. Power animals of the East, I thank you for your help and protection. Power animals of the South, I thank you for your help and protection. Power animals of the West, I thank you for your help and protection. Power animals of the North, I thank you for your help and protection. Father Sky, Mother Earth, I thank you for your help and protection. Please guide me always onto the right path for me. Okay. So take note on how you feel. Does your head feel a little lighter? I kind of do, actually, back here. The other thing is when you were doing the ritual, the repetitive part, some of you might have heard it before you thought it, almost like you already knew what was coming. So if you experience that, that was your higher self speaking to you. And that's one of the reasons why we will do rhymes, or we will repeat things, because as soon as it starts to communicate our higher self, we know that it's now connected to our conscious mind and our super mind, which creates the magic, and a connection is in place. So pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to animals that come to you, because through this month, they're all going to represent certain totems that you should actually write down in your book of shadows. And when you're helping people, or you're giving readings, or whatever it is that you practice, and animals come to mind, you know that that is symbolic. I know we're almost done, but I do want to also talk about something that we are going into. So Beltane is May 1st. Oh, I'm so glad my voice is back. I was getting worried there. So whenever we practice Beltane, it represents love. And the totem for Beltane is the hawk. So if you see a hawk flying around, or sometimes we'll hear one, but we won't see one, that's magical. And Beltane is one of our most exciting, most beloved holidays, almost like as popular as Halloween or Samhain. And it marks the start of a new year. In the old times, it was the beginning for the Celts. Beltane is the halfway point in the year, but it also marks the true start to the warm growing season. And I think we've been pretty lucky, because my grass is starting to turn green, but it represents the true warmth. So the summer is coming into play, and it also represents a celebration that we survived. And think about how awesome that is, that we survived, especially with what's going on now. And this is actually one of the toughest years because of the pandemic and all this stuff. I know a lot of people who have passed because of it, both vaccinated and unvaccinated. So it is a horrible time, but this is a time where we are receiving healing. So kind of watch the numbers this month too with the news and how things are being affected. Hopefully, the power of the universe is kicking some butt. So this is the time where we would actually celebrate. We made it through the winter. Now we get to enjoy this new year, and we would celebrate our ancestors and the energy and the healing that they themselves brought into our life. All of the things that we have today are because of, the cycles of life and the things that people brought about. And so we would light a fire, whether it's a bonfire, which is traditional, and I'll even light it in the daytime, or a candle, but you have to light something. And this represents purifying all things. So any lingering effects from winter, whether it's illness or negative energies or spirits or shadows, whatever it is, this is the fire that cleanses it. And as witches, we do a lot of purification work. So Beltane is super important in our fires. We'll put incense sometimes just to make it smell good. But we also feast on that day and connect to people that we love. But the deeper connection to Beltane does represent the sacred union of the god and the goddess. It also represents our masculine and feminine side in unison with what it is that we want to create. And the ancients would sometimes call this hierogamos. And that represented, that was a word that was renewal of the land and kingdom. So in the ancient times, this was the most magical time because we got to watch the renewal of the land and the kingdom of like what flowers are growing. And a lot of times spiritual people will find, new plants and flowers growing as well. So this is something that we connect to, the mysteries and the connection to the ancestors. As each flower blooms, a new nature spirit comes into our realm. So everything that blooms, that also includes your spirit, the spirit of who you are and who you have risen through the winter is now coming into this world. So your essence is flowing out and creating. And for this ritual, there is a certain cake. And these cakes were usually left in the garden to please the fairy visitors. So I'm going to put this up right now before our class ends. Get that. So make that. You can also eat it, but I like to make sure that I leave some for my, I'll have some for the Beltane ceremony as well. There's also an incense that is traditional that some of you like to work with herbs. So let me share that with you. So when we do our Beltane ritual, we also call in the quarters, but we also call in the May King and the May Queen. And those two represent the Fairy Queen and the Fairy King. So next class, I plan to go into, I guess it wouldn't be considered fairy Wicca. I guess it kind of would be, but I want to go into the 9 kingdoms, the 9 kingdoms of the fairy witches. And that is really cool. I hope you believe in nature spirits. So for your incense, you can use rose. So rose is something that we use for Beltane, yarrow, as well as orris root, and amber or sandalwood. So those are some herbs that you could use. And I do have the, and you do want to make an oil for this ritual to anoint your candle, but also use all year. So that I would like you to do for homework. And I'm going to post the ingredients and how to make it. Okay, the ritual oil. And of course, whenever I post an ingredient, you can add more things to it if you want. It doesn't just have to stick with what I do. I'm just sharing what works for me. Okay. We are also going to be doing a house cleansing ritual. So I'm going to write that down. This is going to get posted for the class. And you want to do this cleansing ritual before the full moon. Where are we right now? We're in the waxing. No, we want to do this after the full moon. So house purification. Make sure you put this ritual, you can print it out and keep it, but it is also something that you can offer to others and try. So if you know someone and they're like, I think my place is haunted, give this ritual a try, put it in your book of shadows and use it. This is wicked. So let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. And if you can, some of you may have collected rainwater, but if you haven't collected rainwater, try to do that before Beltane. And I like to use rainwater for the Beltane ritual. So any rainwater there. The other thing that I did miss a couple things, I have to do this. Coriander seeds is something that is also magical to use this month, and chamomile. And the reason why is because we'll use that so that it can neutralize and also activate our healing ability. We have to try to neutralize our body this month. Traditionally, we would start drinking a lot of water to try to balance our body, our masculine and feminine side. And before ritual, it's traditional to drink ginger. So ginger tea is used through this month to neutralize our body, get it to kick into a healing mode, and then it balances our yin and our yang, our masculine and feminine. So you can use real ginger, ground ginger, doesn't matter, dry ginger, or you can even eat the candy, but that's what you want. And May was used to identify our connection to our creation and to the goddess. So May is believed to mean magi or magi or sorcerer. May was also believed to mean ancestors, the actual word. They do, and of course, they say the month of May was also named for the Greek goddess Maya or Maya, who was identified for fertility. But the goddess power that comes through up until the full moon is actually known to provide us with health and wealth. So it does represent the things that the ancestors want to bring us into our realm. And May 1st, which was just a few days ago, was always honored as the spirits that protected our city. So when I talked about how the archangels are coming down, this is the time. May 1st is a doorway where they actually come in and try to start putting a shield of protection around our realm. So it is custom to give the Earth Goddess an offering through this year, through this month. On May 15th, we used to honor that as if you are into selling stuff, like I'm a merchant, I have a retail store. So on May 15th is when you want to light a candle to increase your profit. And when you light the candle, you want to say Merck's Mercies. So it is MERX. Merck's Mercies or Mercies, MERCES. And so when you say that 3 times, Merck's Mercies, Merck's Mercies, Merck's Mercies, it represents, it calls the good. It calls Maya, the goddess, to promote growth as far as money and merchandise. So even if you want something big, like a house, chant that 3 times with your money candle and light it up on the 15th. And of course, green is good to use, white is good to use, orange is good if you need money to come from something new, because my path probably doesn't have any room for extra to pop in. Like if there's no way a surprise can come, use an orange one. Orange brings opportunity from outside sources. The other thing that I love is if you do see orange on your candles this month, that represents your elders coming forward. And the elders that come forward through our magic this month will actually stay with us until June. So it's really cool. Now, the 14th is also the day where we are meant to be creative, but we get a boost of energy. So really do something healing for yourself on the 14th, even if it's just sitting there with a candle or playing your drum or pulling cards or just relaxing and staring at the stars. You want to just relax for sometimes on the 14th. And then when I was talking about the 15th, again, I'm jumping. So when I was talking about how the 15th was known as the money candle for merchants, the other thing it is known traditionally in the ancient days. May 15th is the day of prophecy. And according to ancestors, and it's also used to connect to our ancestors. So we can ask for their help and they will bring calm to our mind and open the flow of our intuitive information. So May 15th, our ancestors have the ability to connect us to the energies that manifest within the law of attraction. And it's known as the spirit of refuge. So on the May 15th of every year, we can ask our ancestors for prophecies on how to ease our life and our mind and get us into the flow. So meditate that day, think about what you want, let yourself renew your energy, but try to stay open to intuitive information, okay? If you have lots of stress this month or stressful events, there is an angel that is here to help us deal with stress. And it is Hahiel. So H-A-H-E, or no, sorry, I spelled it wrong. H-A-H, Ha, that's how I remember it. H-A-E-A-L. So Ha-A-L. And that is the spirit that will heal us from stress. And then when I talked about the healing work, May 17th is actually the strongest day for our healing work. And naturally, our own healing abilities, as well as the healing that is connected to our interests, come into play. So we're meant to be watchful and observant of the topics that arise. And this represents the giving and receiving and the healing that is important. Okay? And that is all the things that May represents, really. And one of the reasons why fear and sometimes chaos will arise around us is because it does represent fairy energy coming through. And other spirits are fearful of the fairy energy. So when new energies come into this realm, all the other energies that have been here for winter are starting to run and squirm. And some of those energies are like built up things that aren't very positive. So the fairy power, the elemental power that comes through actually cleans the fears and all of the things that are dominating our mind. And that's what I love about the fairies and the nature spirits, is even though they're the root makers, their dimension, their business in our dimension is to create joy, unconditional love, and to get rid of the power that is dominating us in a negative way. So I'm excited about the nature fairies next month. And it's going to take us further into June and more. So that's exciting. So before we go, let's do some cards on the magic of this month. I'm going to get you that recipe for the fairy cakes. You can take some pictures if you want. If you're joining for Beltane, maybe save one for then or make them for that day. So this class is pretty short. I think there's only a few of us on here. So I'm just going to pull in some cards. So for the ones that are here, you get your card. So what is your magic all about, Bonnie? Friendship. So you're meant to connect to people this month. And those are people that you are going to have new connections with. They are spiritual, so spiritual group, and getting out. And I feel like there is an energy that you're kind of fighting that is trying to stop you from getting out more. And that could also be the cleansing energy that's happening. But your magic is through friendship, transformation, as well as healing grief. So someone might come around you for help and healing. Maybe they're around you now, but you're meant to kick into your healing. And that makes sense for you. I believe that, you have experienced grief and you know it well, and you're able to share and help people with it. Hillary, let's see what yours is. Oh, travel. So you're meant to travel, traveling to a peaceful place for reconciliation. So again, peace and balance. And that to me is cleansing. I feel like the travel is also something that you are drawn to go and you feel that cleansing power. I feel like when you go somewhere, you are cleansing. Where I feel like, Bonnie, when your place is like outside, your place is very connected to you. I feel like you're meant to do more outside. There's something you're supposed to build, Bonnie. Okay, so let's do manifestation for Bonnie. Talent. So a talent is coming forward, and manifestation for Hillary. See what you get. Compassion. So that's not like a high vibe. It's more like a real connection to people. So you're meant to travel, connect, be peaceful, flow. And the cards for those that couldn't make it tonight, let's do 3. Let's see what they get. Inspiration. So inspiration, magic, and finding what? Protection. So make sure we do our protections and purifications. Okay. So with that, sorry I sounded a little scattered brained. I was totally brain dead all day, but we got through it. I think it made sense. And yeah, next month, 9 fairy witches are going to hear about. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
It was fun. Blessings. See you soon.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.